coming in hard. We coming in hard. Right here, right now. This is the Remix Morning Show on Black Power Media. Here to give you that boom bap breakfast right here, right now. This Tuesday, this Wednesday, and this Thursday. That's right, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. Let me introduce you to your host. We got no other than Kamal K. Franklin. And burn it down, Kim Brown.
Damn.
Damn.
Kim, I love the look. You got the hoop earrings in. You got the Adidas track on. Right. I like the hair.
Got a B-girl.
Looking all over the space. You know what I'm saying? I love it.
Looking like Cayenne and Laurie's. Not Salt and Pepper. Cayenne and Laurie's.
I'm like, who is Laurie's? Isn't it Laurie's?
Lowry's. It's Lowry's, yeah. I didn't know. I didn't know.
Laurie. Lowry's.
I don't eat that shit.
You don't eat seasoned salts?
Not Lowry's or Laurie's, no. Got too much stuff in it. Anyway, how y'all doing today?
Oh,
good.
Feeling good. Feeling great. Oh, feeling great. Feeling good. How are you? You.
Hey,
we had a great town hall. Oh, my bad. I'm gonna jump right. We had a great town hall last night. We had the Stop Cop City town hall. We had a packed house. I was like close to 60, 70 people packed the room up in there. Planning, organizing. So it was cool. Maybe if I got some clips, we might show some clips later or something like that. But it was all out. Like, folks came out. So I was really happy about it. Now I need a vacation.
Did the cops come out?
No, they left us alone. They left us. So the last time we did this maybe a year and a half ago, they came out. This time there was nobody, no cops around, which was
nice.
Fantastic, but all the folks came out. So that was fantastic too.
Beautiful. I'm glad to hear that.
Man, you had a busy week into the week. What's next?
I think I'm going to a wedding this weekend.
You think? Right. You don't even got your outfit together, but I guess these are things that men don't concern themselves with.
He's not getting the outfit together. Who's getting that outfit together?
I'm like, there's not going to be nothing ironed. It's going to be like a last second. Oh, that shirt, that pants, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, right. Somebody else is getting your outfit together for you.
It's going to be laid out on the bed, Kim.
Yes.
What are you talking about? It's going to be like the first day of school.
Now, Kamal, wear these socks. Don't wear them socks with the holes in them. You wear your good socks today.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm going to get it together one day. I'm going to dress nice, and y'all going to be like, what?
Yeah.
Now, that to me seems like an upside to having a husband. You do get to dress them. That sounds like fun.
Yeah. We are nothing. We're Ken dolls. We can be Ken dolls at times.
Yeah.
You ever do the both of y'all matching and wear the same outfit? No. Yeah, that's not till retirement.
until we were like on a cruise, just a cruise ship. Yeah, maybe that's when. And I don't have long to go. You know, that might be in like 2 years for me. You never know. I'm looking forward to being in an old folks retirement home. It's like my dream. That's my dream.
What? You don't want your kids taking care of you?
Nah, I want them, you know, they come visit every now and then. But you know, it's like one of those things where you they wouldn't be left alone. In retirement home, door closed, you know what I'm saying? Put the tapioca at the door, then knock once, leave. I come in. All I need is, my computer, you know what I'm saying? Little chess online. Ooh, those be good days.
That is the life. That sounds good. Those good real nice retirement homes. Yeah, they do.
You get old, you start thinking about that stuff. You're like, what? No, nobody needs as much company around me no more. You know what I'm saying?
They come check on you.
Yeah,
Mr. Franklin, you okay in there?
Yeah, leave me alone.
Kids come see you only on the holidays. It would be great.
That was fantastic. Even then, I was like, can you just drop a card, B? I'm fine.
Wow, low maintenance elderly father. You must be a unicorn out here because these old men, when they get sick, baby, can you come bring me some soup? Can you go to the pharmacy and pick up my medicine?
I feel like when I get the sick, I do the man thing. I just I lay there It's like, that kind of thing. I'm going to recover. I do have to get forced to go see the doctor and all that kind of stuff. I do have to, that stuff. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm just going to lay there and be like, I'm going to be better. I'm okay.
That is the one thing about having a wife. They will make sure you go to the doctor, a woman, and not even just a wife, just a woman around.
But especially a wife, because that's why married men live longer than married women. Well, women married men. Let me put it that way.
Live longer than unmarried men, but they still don't live longer than their wives.
Usually they do. Sometimes they do.
The stats are that they're married. No matter what, women are outliving dudes.
Yeah.
It's just that what we do increase when we get married by a few, because we're not eating fucking TV dinners, basically, so.
Right, but so I'm gonna have to do my Googles, even though I know the chat is going to be ahead of me in this, because there are statistics to back this up that actually single women, unmarried women live the longest, followed by married men. Right?
Oh,
married
let's
women.
Do that research.
Married women have a shorter life expectancy than married men.
Really? Okay, let's do that research. I'm surprised by that.
Hey, you see what Malik said? I'm married and dying daily.
Now imagine how his wife feels. Shit. Imagine how his wife feels. He ain't picking up her socks.
Malik, let's
she picking up his socks. You know what I'm saying? Like, anyway.
Why are you assuming all that? You got to assume all that.
You know what I'm saying?
What happens in my household? Who picking up the laundry? Who picking up the dirty clothes? That might be my job.
Might be.
It is. Be more specific.
Now, how good are you at this job? That probably is your job. Are you proficient at that job?
Right now to make sure I get the laundry done without, damaging the clothes, without too much bleach in this or whatever. I'm excellent now. Excellent.
Now, how long did it take you to get?
Well, it did take some training. It took like the first several years of the marriage.
Can you imagine? And that is time that your wife cannot get back, son. Trying to teach you how to use the washing machine. You were supposed to come to her already
knowing. You'll throw a coin in here. Where's the coin thing at? With the slot for the coin.
Now, some of y'all are coming with some domestic labor skills, and then some of y'all are feigning incompetence, right? Some of y'all act like y'all don't know how to clean, do this, do that, when actually you do, but you don't want to. So you do it badly, so your wife or your partner won't ever ask you again to clean the tub.
Kim, be quiet.
I know, kid. What's wrong
letting
with
the
you?
cat out the bag? What is
no?
All the tricks of the trade.
Right.
All the tricks of the trade. No.
So
mute her.
So on carrying a fucking husband. Like, nigga, you 50. Don't act like you don't know how to work this washing machine.
Hey, Kim, your mic was off. Can you repeat that one more time? I'll be right
Y'all know
back.
what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. That's okay.
You know what I hate? I hate dudes that can cook, though.
Why you hate them?
Because they make the rest of us look bad.
As well they should. Yes.
No. I hate anytime there's some TV show or like I hit some dude is cooking. I was like, what the fuck are you doing, B? What's wrong with you?
Stop hating on me, bro. Stop.
I knew you were one of them. I knew you were one of them. Them cookers.
Ear doctor, what are your best dishes? I'm curious. Like, give me a breakfast, lunch, and a dinner. What do you make proficiently?
For breakfast, yesterday I did some blueberry waffles. I did the veggie sausage, and I did the just eggs. It's like the fake type eggs that you do in the pan, and some potatoes.
Okay,
that's my breakfast. Yeah,
Yummy.
And one of my signature dinner meals is a nice bed of rice. And then you put cut some okra up with some tomatoes, onions, and some little bit of garlic, and then throw it on top. And then you sear pan salmon, season it up real nice, sear pan it, and then you get a couple of asparagus or Brussels sprouts, cut them up, a little bit of seasoning in there, a little bit of
delicious.
And that's how I get them.
I got right. You're not wrong about that, ear doctor. I mean, a man that is proficient in the kitchen, I think, stands a better chance of attracting a partner, because at least that partner knows that they do not have to do all of the cooking, which is great.
You would think that'd be true, but it don't translate. It just makes the rest of us look bad. But
sound like the rest of y'all.
Unfortunately for your species, you know what I'm saying? Y'all just y'all think of us as like resurrection projects. Y'all gonna take us from maybe not you, but a lot of your steed. You know what I'm saying?
Well, not at my age. Maybe 10 years ago, I may have been interested in a project, in a what? A resurrection project? Is that what you call it?
Resurrection from the dead. Yeah.
Jesus God. Oh Lord, women do not get paid enough for all this labor.
I don't have nothing to say about that.
Okay. And ear doctor has departed the building. So okay, well, okay, well.
I got nothing to say about that. It is what it is these days.
How long did it take for your wife to train you? Seriously, be an honest answer. How many years did it take you to get up to speed?
Probably like about 4 or 5. About 4 or 5.
Damn.
But I was well worth the investment.
Okay. Woo, 4 years.
I've there's been dividends. You know what I'm
saying? It didn't even take me 4 years to train my dog, Holmes.
Yeah, dogs are far more obedient than dudes. You're not
Exactly.
It takes a couple of newspaper whaps on the nose to really get us trained. You know what I'm saying? And even then, you still got to pull that leash every now and then. You gotta pull it hard. Yeah, we don't train that easy, B. We don't train that easy.
Salute.
But again, you want to investment though.
Hats off to everyone who has a husband. I mean, God bless you, seriously, because you I guess are doing the Lord's work out here, saving a man from himself usually, which is admirable. Woo! Could not be me, but I respect it though. I would read your wife's book and Jared's wife's book about how to train your in. I would read that. I would read it.
Appreciate that.
It would be a bestseller because you put your face on the cover, be like, I trained him. Bam. That's a bestseller. That's flying out the beauty salon on Saturday morning. You trained him? Oh shit! Let me read this. How I trained Kamal. Shit! Let me read that joint.
He needed it too. I agree. I would have been one of them dudes who would have been. I don't know. My leg would have been swollen by now. I didn't know what a vegetable was half the time. I was like, a vegetable. If it wasn't in my chicken fried rice, it wasn't happening. Put it like that. They didn't stir that up in there, little broccoli pieces or whatever they put in there. I was like, oh yeah, you can put that. Just take that out. I might pluck that out. Yeah.
Anyway, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Remix Morning Show. What's up, Remixers? You see what kind of morning it is already. Ear Doctor just dipped. He didn't say bye, nothing. He just left the screen. That's cool. It's Wednesday, October 26th. We've got some news, some other things in store for you. I thought we might be getting an appearance from one of our fellow co-hosts this morning. So hopefully.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Hold up. I had to go outside. We doing donations for Ye. Donations for Ye. We got to get him back into the billionaire column. Come on, y'all. He's falling.
If you believe in Black Power, you will donate to make my man Yeezy rich again. Make Yeezy rich again.
Wait a minute. How Kim leave? Kim, what happened? It was a joke. It was a joke, Kim. Oh my goodness.
We're not making Kanye no billionaire again. Nigga probably wasn't even a billionaire to begin with. It was probably some Forbes bullshit.
We do have somebody backstage. Oh, you trying to come on?
Wait. Y'all need to stop messing up my surprise.
Oh, my bad. I just didn't I want nobody sitting back there. Okay, I'm shutting up.
Boy, I'll tell you. Anyway, right here, right now, welcome to the Remix Morning Show. At this time, we're going to take a break and come right back to the Remix Morning Show. Wait a minute. I got to say show.
Yeah, what's going on with your reverb, son?
Show. There we go. Welcome out, everybody. Welcome out to the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. And please make sure y'all hit that like button, that subscribe button, that share button, and let everybody know that there's a lot of dope stuff right here on Black Power Media. You go to patreon.com, drop some change in the bucket. We got some things going on. We got documentaries we putting out. Listen, we got big things a going. And with that said, I want to tell y'all about one of the dope shows that we have here on this channel, and it goes by the name of Real Talk, and it has this professor who goes by the name of Dr. Sundiada. Blah, 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 blah. What's good, bro?
Hey.
Glad
to be here.
Yeah. Finally got you on a remix.
Yeah, it might be the last time, brother.
It's like I ain't used to getting up this early for no TV.
No. I get up this early, but I usually go to the gym, man. Get my workout in. Yeah.
So let us know.
Then come back and go to sleep.
Oh, see, now that's how you do it. How many do you get a nap during the day? Because I know that's power nap, is it?
Absolutely, I do, man. About 40 minutes. Absolutely.
I hear that. Well, listen, tell us about Real Talk and what's coming up on Real Talk.
Okay, Real Talk is part of the BPM family, and it focuses largely on history, though because I've been deeply influenced by my wife, Kim, I try and bring in a little bit of Black psychology. So I look at Negres's theory. I always ask my guests about how they came to be who they are in terms of Blackness and radicalness. Upcoming shows this Thursday. I've got the Ear Doctor.
Wow.
And
what?
We're got the Ear Doctor. Surprise.
Hey, look at that.
That's the surprise. Look. And we're actually starting a campaign to raise money for Kanye West.
Right. So get your Bitcoin and all that together.
Jay-Z, all of them. We're going to focus on music, obviously, but what's happening in the world of hip hop. And we're going to try and digest that as a colonial cultural form.
Got you.
Drop that out. I've got a brother by the name of LeGarrette King lined up for late November. Excuse me, for early December. King is a specialist in curriculum and instruction. So we're going to talk about this effort to remove Black history from public schools. And, you know, it's barely there. In fact, his research shows that about an hour a semester is donated to Black history. Right? And then I've got a brother by the name of Brian Jones. Right now, he's the he's in charge of community education for the Schaumburg. He's a brother who ran for mayor as a socialist. He's part of a book that I've got coming out with Mary Frances Berry and B.P. Franklin entitled Reparations, Repertory Justice, Past, Present, and Future. So that's what I got lined up.
Nice. Well, in case y'all don't know about Real Talk, now y'all know. Y'all better go find out. Go check it out. It's coming on tomorrow. Actually, I'm going to be joining you tomorrow. So if it's your first time, you'll get your first glimpse then, and then keep watching. Thank you, Dr. Sundiada, for coming through to the Remix Morning Show. I will peep you tomorrow.
Keep it going, bro.
No doubt. Peace out. I'm about to be famous, yo.
Our brother Sundiada, Dr. Sundiada, an apology. I missed my opportunity and I never came back around. So, you know, here, sorry, Dr. Sundiada. You gotta have me back. You gotta have me on. You're gonna have the Ear Doctor on before me, son. I don't get on Dr. Sundiada's show. I don't get on Sundays. I don't get on I Mix With a Light. Kim don't ask me on her show no more. Wow. I feel like I'm banned.
Shadow banned.
You've been on one Sundays when we did the Big Pun and Biggie Small joint.
That's right. That's when we killed them, though.
That's right.
And you've been on Burn It Down with Kim Brown talking about No Cop City.
That's true. I feel like it's been decades ago. No one wants me anymore.
It's poor Kamal.
Yo, I'm about to be famous, y'all. I'm about to be on Real Talk. Y'all don't know. Y'all better find out right here, right now. And
I appreciate. Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say I appreciate Dr. Sundiata saying that he was influenced by his wife into pursuing his history. Like, where to go? Yep, look at him, all healthy and stuff, looking beautiful.
All right.
Married.
Hey, and before I do get out of here, we also got another thing coming up tomorrow at 12 noon. We got what is this? Kalanji, the riot starter. He's gonna have veteran freedom fighter, former political prisoner, Sylvia. Go ahead. There we go. That's right, with co-host Dr. Joy James. So y'all check that out tomorrow noon, right here on Black Power Media. And
before you go, on Friday at 11 o'clock, we're going to have for Patreons, either Patreons only or members only. We got to figure out which one, but it is going to be a subscription base. We're going to do a review of what, dear doctor?
We're going to do a review of the Dragons. The House of Dragons. Yeah, we're going to talk about the House of Dragons. I got forced to watch this whole episode, binge watch this whole series. And yeah, we're going to talk about it.
And I can burn it down. Kim Brown's going to be joining us. And Jackie Lukman.
Jackie Lukman. Yeah. And she will be back next week, y'all. So
next week.
That's right. Okay. So that's what it is. All right. Well, I'll catch you on next break. Peace.
Peace. Thank you, ear doctor. How are we, Kamal? Are we well?
We're doing well. Can't say that I'm not. Everything's going good right now.
And the kids, how's school?
The kids are good. My daughter's faking an injury, so I'm not like that.
I respect it. Your daughter's brilliant, by the way. She would be the one getting cozy with the COVID kids and be like, no, I've had close exposure. I need 2 weeks off.
Exactly. That's exactly. I'm sick. Right. I'm sick.
Maya, get her into some drama classes. Like, you peep the talent early, man. Nurture it.
Oh, she is. She's already, that's her thing. She's doing a school play. She wants to do other plays. We're trying to be nursing a little bit. But I'm just saying, the fake injury thing.
That's great. We got some news?
Yeah.
God damn. Was that Jesus coming down?
The Remix Morning Show, Black Power Media, the best, most live morning show on these YouTube streets. Who else is running with us? Nobody. It's Kim Brown, Kamal Franklin, the ear doctor. Big up to our comrades, Kalanji Changa, Dr. Jared Ball, Jacqueline Lukman. Big up to Erica Brown, Sis Erica. Sis Erica, we miss you. It would be awesome if you could come join us one morning. I know you're busy, girl.
I know. When you gotta get your camera fixed, though. When you get your camera fixed, you should come join us.
Well, how come BPM can't spot Sister Erica camera?
Because the donors ain't give us enough money. The GoFundMe needs to increase a little bit more.
Here we go. All right.
Tell your daughter to put some exactly, B. Infinite content. You are so correct on that. And for those that she ain't got no cast on. That's like ultra wrapping. She done wrapped her foot like 40 times. You can't even see her leg no more. There's so much wrapping on it. You think she's at a club foot. I was like, how much wrapping you gonna put on this thing? And when you take the wrapping off, that's nothing swollen. There's not a bruise. There's not nothing.
Do you understand her dedication to the role, though? You understand?
She's dedicated to her craft. I completely.
She is already giving you method, okay? She's already saying, no, my foot hurts. I will show you how much my foot hurts. Look at this. Look how much I wrapped it up. Look at this.
She's crawling on the floor. I was like,
I love it. Anyway, and see, I'm a terrible parent. Like, well, I'm not a parent, obviously, but I'd be telling my friends with kids, they'd be like, yeah. I'd be like, what are you guys doing? Oh, yeah, the boys got to go to school. I'm like, them kids don't need no goddamn third grade. They can miss a week or two of third grade. What in the hell are they learning in the third grade? I'm sorry.
No. Yeah, don't adopt. Don't babysit. Don't do anything.
I'm so sorry. No, I'm terrible. One of my friends, children recently started high school, and high school starts at 7:30 in the morning at the same time it did 25 years ago when I was in high school. Outrageous. And I'm like, I said, forget first period. You just get there at second period. You get there at 9 o'clock. I said, people who have actual jobs don't have to show up at 7:30 in the morning. I'm sorry. I'm bad. I'm bad. Very bad. Sorry.
Ooh,
sorry,
yeah.
kids.
Ooh, no. Ooh, no. All right. So we ready to get some news started? We got some news.
I have a story that I need. I haven't sent it yet. I'm in the process of sending it. But if you have one ready to go,
let's start with the easy stuff.
Oh,
I mean, the ear doctor brought it up, and we do have a story on it. So let's just run this real quick, y'all. Let's do a little celebrity culture news. So your man, I guess, who no longer goes by Kanye, but with all the controversy surrounding him, apparently Adidas has dropped him. And from that alone, this headline says Kanye West no longer a billionaire as net worth drops to $400 million after Adidas deal termination, Forbes says. And so basically what we're here is if the artist formerly known as Kanye West is no longer a billionaire per Forbes. The update arrived shortly after Adidas announced the immediate termination of its deal with Ye following a string of comments that have been widely called out as anti-Semitic. According to the publication, Ye is worth an estimated $400 million without the Adidas deal, which is valued at $1.5 billion. In a recent Piers Morgan interview, notably, Ye said that he had maybe only $120 million in his account. God damn, he's suffering. And so further, Adidas does not tolerate anti-Semitism and any other sort of hate speech, although the person who started Adidas was a Nazi. For the company and his factories worked on what? Nazi shit. It said in a press release shared on Tuesday, adding that Yee's recent remarks were unacceptable, hateful, and dangerous. As previously reported, Adidas had formally placed the Yeezy partnership under review earlier this month. And then it goes on to say that several other collaborators have also dropped Ye in terms of working with them, and this is further contributing to his net losses or whatever. So this just shows, the thing that I really wanted to comment is they will make you and they will break you when they think the time is right. And again, he said all that stuff over the last few years about the Black community, about slavery being a choice, negative things about Harriet Tubman. None of these major corporations dropped him. Thought a second thing about letting them ride that out. But as soon as he starts talking about something which can be hung on the head of anti-Semitism, and it probably, to be honest, I have not followed the comments except for the DEF CON thing, so I'm not exactly sure everything that he said. And so I'm not necessarily suggesting the company should not have dropped him, but I am suggesting that there are certain things that will get you dropped and certain things that will not. And that seems to be what's happening. And I take no, I'm not sad that he's being dropped by any stretch of the imagination, but it's interesting around the events that make it happen as opposed to other events.
Well, so the conversations that I've been seeing around social media involve the way certain communities will squad up when people are moving mad, and the way other communities won't, right? So I understand that the reason why Adidas and Balenciaga and all these other places never dropped Kanye for his anti-Black comments, because they don't give a damn about anti-Black, but he was never widely condemned or canceled or attempted to be canceled by the Black community, right? Because there's always a lot of country, there's always a lot of latitude and space for wayward niggas talking crazy, right? Well, everybody's entitled to an opinion, right? Let the man say what he wants to say. Well, when he's saying things demeaning Black women and demeaning women generally, that's accepted content. Like, that is generally accepted speech in society, but it's definitely accepted within our community, again, because we refuse to throw out problematic people, right? I talked about this on my show about Joe Budden's comments admitting to stealthing his partners. Spotify didn't blink. You know what I mean? Nobody blinked. Nobody even barely shrugged. You know, oh, that's just par for the course. Of course, these men are allowed to move in this way, in harmful ways, admit to it, and still be able to keep their position. So it's only when Kanye decided to speak in anti-Semitic ways about the Jewish community was their movement taken. And again, no, I don't expect Adidas to drop him for bashing black women, but I expect us to drop him for bashing black women. And I don't understand why that never happened. It never happened.
And in that larger sense, it speaks to the lack of any power of any of these sort of black institutions, black organizations, to do anything about what Yeezy says. So again, if he says something about a community that reaches sort of corporate the corporate headquarters, corporations start moving and shaking and doing things because other communities can put pressure to have to have him removed or whatever. And so in our inability to sort of formulate different types of power, it leaves us practically in a place where you couldn't affect his wealth if you wanted to, right? I mean, people could boycott him all we wanted to, which would not have been a bad idea. But in a way in which the capitalist structure is fomented, the ability to do something is only based on your ability to sort of get somebody else to stop messing with them, and that's the level of strength that we're at.
Internally within our community, though, I mean, how do these conversations play out, right? Because Kanye demonstrably made anti-black comments. You know, slavery's a choice, even though I sent you a story and we're going to get into how slavery's a choice. Kanye does not even own his Yeezy designs through Adidas, but, you know, slavery's a choice. But okay. But, you know, when he makes anti-black comments, when he's, you know, making misogynoirist comments, like, we're not even unified amongst ourselves. Like, forget corporate America, just exclude them for a second. When we have these conversations amongst ourselves, there's always a lot of apologies for Kanye. You know, it's all right for black people to have quote unquote diversity of thought. We're all not, you know, a monolith or whatever. If he wants to support Trump, you know, he can all this madness. And we don't collectively get people the fuck up out the paint, like us. And I hear what you're saying about we don't actually have the power to do that. But culturally, I think we do have the power to at least turn opinion in the correct direction and highlight the fact of the harmful comments that people continuously make, especially when they're celebrities and in the public space.
No, I think you're right. And I think the other thing is that I think the confusion for still us as a general black populace is that some rich black person, because they're rich, because they're black, needs to be protected, needs to be safeguarded, no matter what they say or what they do, right? So there needs to be some wraparound protection. I think there's still folks who think like that any individual success by a black person somehow translates into success for us as a larger community. And because that's the case, I think there is always going to be a percentage of our community that wraps a narrative around why a person like Kanye needs to be protected, and or other sort of well-known or rich black figures, particularly, like you said, rich male black figures, right? That there's a need to protect them from all the sort of slings and arrows that come their way through success. And it doesn't matter what they're accused of and or what they do. That, you know, we can go back. Recently, we talked about Mike Tyson, OJ to an extent, Cosby to an extent, to Cosby to a large extent. So I think that happens as part of this like dichotomy and fighting within the black community around what it means to have success, and our lack of ability, as organizers together, again, not through not trying and not through, and because of all the other propaganda that comes the other way, of to sort of rally a community around a common narrative of like, it's not, these folks don't necessarily matter in our community. You're holding up their opinions. But, you know, what did Kanye do? Kanye married some white woman and moved out, like, you know, decades ago, moved out the hood. Doesn't do anything like it that's really important in terms of something that would improve our, cooperatively speaking, our economic situation. Doesn't do anything around giving sort of largesse to build alternative institution and thing. He's within the capitalist sphere. And that's where he's comfortable at. But still, we are trained, we are well honed to take that to take that on as a success for all of us. And so therefore, what do? We celebrate a Kanye. We big up a Kanye. And then again, only when some other community turns against them do we begin to do our own so-called leaders themselves line up against him and say, oh, that's enough is enough kind of thing.
Listen to Black women. Black women have been telling everybody about Kanye West for a very, very long time. And everybody was like, you bitter Black bitches. Why don't y'all just shut up? Y'all just jealous. Kanye got a white woman with a big butt and Kim got all the money and y'all hoes just okay. Okay.
My own social media, I haven't been I've definitely have not been following this, but there's some conversation around how Kim Kardashian is turning white again. Like she's sort of had like different either removal and or reversal of certain surgeries, or she's presenting far more white these days than what she was, let's say, a year or 2 or 3 years ago, well, for the last 10 years, where instead of hyping up or hopping on top of like Black street culture or hip hop culture kind of paved the way for her to become a billionaire. I've seen some articles that talked about kind of like the, the way network TV or the WB, like startup networks would feature Black shows to get a general audience. And once they've gotten that audience locked in, and then they start moving away from that audience because now they can charge higher advertising rates as they try to then get white audiences to also come over to their shows. And so it sounds like this is the thing that Kim Kardashian sounds like she's on.
I mean, and that is just on brand with whiteness, with people, especially white people who may have tried to adopt some aspects of Black culture. They can black it up for, a short amount of time, long amount of time. But guess what? They always going to go home. They will go home to the white space because they can do that. They have that ability to move within those spaces because they're always white. I don't give a damn how good her yo is or how many Black men that she's got on her roster. She's still a white girl, and she can revert back to whiteness at any point in time that she chooses. And we've always seen this within hip hop culture, right, Kamal? Like the quote unquote down white boy, a down white girl, they'll be down. Shit, they may even be down to do a little criminal activity, right? But they can go back home to the suburbs. They get in trouble. They're gonna call they suburban parents to come get them out of trouble. And as soon as the white culture puts the foot down and say that's enough of this Black shit, they will go right on back on to the Caucasus Mountains and resume caucasity as planned.
Get that publicist working on one good story in the New York Times of like, please forgive me for my bad behavior, and then boom, it's like it's back on. It's like that race is back on. And yeah, somebody pointed out I think she's half Iranian. They like to say or something along those lines, or Persian. Yeah,
white.
Somebody's saying Armenian, not Persian. Yeah,
white. White. I don't care. Listen, that's the first time I've ever heard that, and I don't even know if that's true. Because the only thing I've ever heard Kim scream is Armenia, and when I look on the map, guess where Armenia is? Europe. It's in Europe. She is European. Oh my God, men. Oh my God, boys. When I was younger, Kamal, living in Howard County, and the Black men who, not all, but a not insignificant portion of them did like to date white women, and they would make all the excuses in the world as to why Italian Christina was not actually white. She's not really white. She's Italian. If you niggas don't shut up, she's not really white. Where's Italy, dummy? Oh my God, I've just heard so much. Pop up that Denver Post piece, Kamal, because this is and we're going to get off Kanye, I assure you, but this is just something that I wanted to kiki about, because certain folks be always coming with the chest. I wish kind of this is a Jared conversation here too, because you got to get your money right. You got to make sure you got ownership. You gotta. Okay, nigga. Headline: Adidas intends to sell Yeezy's designs without the name. What happened to ownership? Where your ownership at, champ? According to Bloomberg, this appears in the Denver Post, but this originally appeared in Bloomberg. So Adidas AG intends to sell existing Yeezy products using its own branding after ending its partnership with rapper and designer Kanye West. I can't stand Ye, because I actually have to laugh at the fact that he's calling himself Ye. It's like, nigga, you sold out so much, you don't even have ownership over your own name. How smart are you? Anywho, Adidas management has indicated that it will start selling the products under the company brand after the beginning of next year, according to analysts at Morgan Stanley and RBC Capital Markets. That follows the dissolution of the lucrative tie-up, which Adidas has described as one of the industry's most successful after Ye made anti-Semitic comments. Quote, looking ahead on our own understanding, the company will not sell any Yeezy branded products, and all Yeezy products will be branded under the Adidas brand, said Morgan Stanley analyst Edward Oben, said in a note to clients on Tuesday. The company has already been under pressure from investors over weaker demands in China and production delays. In speaking to analysts, Adidas focused on the potential upside of dissolving its partnership. Fewer expenses. Quote, Adidas has the rights to existing Yeezy product designs and can sell these using Adidas branding, not Yeezy branding, following the termination of the Yeezy partnership, which Adidas intends to do in the first quarter of next year. RBC analyst Pyral Dadahania said in a note. Speaking to the company, it believes that it can limit the loss of revenues through this strategy and will also save on expenses related to royalties and marketing fees no longer payable in 2023. Bitch!
We got breaking news. We got breaking news. We got breaking news.
Oh, what's up, good people? Peace, everybody. What's going on?
Dr. Jared Ball is in the house.
Yeah.
Are you free?
Real quick.
Are you in jail?
I am. Unfortunately, Mumia is not. So I'm here with some folks outside his courtroom waiting to go in so that we can pack the court in his support. And when I get back, I'll have video from outside where Pam and others are gathered outside. Brother Hiram, of course, is out there. Netfa is out there. Bap is on point. So I just wanted to pop on real quick and give that update. And we're just waiting.
Give us a little background. Yeah, give us a little.
Well, the details, honestly, I'm not entirely sure. It's a little more confusing than I can't even keep up with all the specifics. But it's a hearing, hopefully, that could lead to Mumia at least getting a new trial, given all of this absence of evidence that has been used against him. So, as I'm looking at it right now, it looks like members of Faulkner's FOP and widow community are going in, and the courtroom's locked, and it looks like they're not going to let us in until they're finished or something like that. I honestly don't know how all this stuff works.
Oh, wow.
But there's a handful of supporters out here waiting. There's more outside the courthouse in support as well. And, we just wanted to, show out and be on hand in support of Mumia as much as possible to say, he gotta be free and free them all. So so that's where we are, downtown Philly. And that's all I got. That's it. Just that quick update. I am sorry to be missing the Kanye update, though. I admit that part.
I wanted your take on all this Kanye stuff, Jared. Is there anybody in proximity near you that might be willing to speak with us?
You know what? I should have checked before I started live streaming. Give me 2 minutes or less, and to jump off and check with folks before I put a live stream in their face and confirm their agreement, and then I'll be right back.
Perfect.
Pop back on, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good stuff. Why did I think Jared was across the globe somewhere, or he back?
I think he's back. I think that's a future trip, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's all over the place now. So, in a good way, like all over in a good way, like going work.
All over the place in a productive way. We're getting quickly back to our story. I find it very interesting. I find it very interesting because when certain people, especially women, when women like Monique was going through her lawsuit with Netflix, and Megan Thee Stallion was trying to get out of a bad record deal, there a lot of commentary. There was a lot of armchair attorneys online come out talking about, oh, well, y'all didn't read your contract. Oh, how come y'all if y'all had your paperwork together, you wouldn't be in this situation. Well, look, the patron saint of fuck boys. Look at him. He don't even own his own designs. And Adidas is still going to be collecting that coin off them formerly Yeezys. And Kanye not going to see a red cent. Your thoughts?
That's well, what. I mean, that's the thing. These contracts are usually as one-sided as they look. Obviously, he got paid hundreds of millions of dollars, literally. But there's always these things in these contracts that allow these corporations to break them in a moment's notice, that are going to be based on quote unquote behavior clauses or other clauses that allow them to break the contracts. And if the contract isn't written correctly, like what's happening, it's the resources that these corporations put in. What they do is they double down and say, because we put all these resources in, we actually are buying this from you, or we own this, or we own that, which leaves these folks, like you said, not to be in charge of their own branding, not to be in charge of their own product. And they're basically what they really are, corporate shows, right? They're basically advertising, putting their name on something. It's like back in the day when the record companies used to give the artist a label, right? And it was always some labeled, some subsidiary that had no real power, that had no real ability to do anything outside of what the larger label told them to do. And those relationships still are in effect. Folks are still basically digging themselves up for corporate largesse when they don't own nothing. They're basically, I mean, they're getting a lot of money, don't get me wrong. So for them, it's probably worth it. But the way they try to sell it is they're like these huge business folks are doing all this kind of these huge business deals that are making them on par with these corporations that they work with. It's like, no, you're not on par. You could be easily slapped down, and then they're on to the next. Who's coming up next? That's what's happening.
I hate to see this as somebody who was a Ye fan initially, and even though he said so much wild things and done and said so much wild shit, that I think that, you know, this is karma coming back around on him righteously. You know, again, as a human, I hate to see him go out sad like this. I hate the fact there's even a part of me that even feels bad for Kanye. I just don't feel like he deserves any of our empathy or sympathy, but yet I still have it for him, and I'm kind of upset with myself about that, because I'm like, this nigga do not deserve. We back.
We back.
Oh, Gerard is back.
Let's do
Come
it.
through, Gerard.
Peace, everybody. Just standing here very quickly for a minute with Noel Hanrahan, the legendary Noel Hanrahan of Prison Radio, who has been bringing us Mumia's commentaries all these years. Just wanted to get your quick take on what's going on this morning, maybe clean up my own brief explanation of what we're doing here. Hey. And I know we're about to go in, so.
Yeah, we're outside of Lucretia Clemens's courtroom. She's the division of the criminal division in Philadelphia court, and it's Maria's hearing. This is a critical moment. She can decide whether he gets a new evidentiary hearing or whether he gets a new trial. Mumia, in order to get free in the courts, has to have this right now. It's October 26th. This is a critical moment. We'll know an hour or less whether Mumia Abu-Jamal has traction in the lower courts. And that's super important. So it's momentous. They should give it the relief they've given. They've suppressed evidence. They've taken us off the jury, Batson and Brady violations. I'm going to see Mumia this afternoon. We have to move forward. Mumia will be free. But this would be a road to freedom. This right now, right here.
All right. That's pretty good. And we'll continue to bring updates as they come. Noel, appreciate you. Peace, everybody.
Peace.
Thank you. Thank you. You hear the cops jamming the signal.
Yeah, and there was a little signal issue. The things that we can catch is that so this is an evidentiary hearing to see whether or not this judge would grant either a new trial or allow a motion to allow new evidence to come in preparation for the possibility of a new trial. So apparently, I think this is, but obviously both sides are there, and so what was mentioned earlier, this is that the police family is there. Obviously, the prosecutors are having them come give testimony. Reviewing evidence. There's some claim, of course, on the Mumia side that what's called Brady evidence was also not allowed, which means evidence that the other side possessed that they never turned over at the time of trial to the defense lawyers. And so that is a constitutional violation, which would give enough, which supposedly would be enough to overturn a conviction and to set a potential date for a new trial. So all of this may be hanging in the balance. I'm sure even after the testimony is given, a decision won't be made on the spot. So there'll probably be a few weeks, if not months, wait for the judge to ultimately give a decision on whether or not there's going to be granted a new trial and or again, some new motions to allow some more evidence into the case.
I mean, how can you not grant him a new trial? And in Pennsylvania, specifically in Philadelphia, under Larry Krasner, the district attorney there, he created, I think it's called a conviction integrity unit, which, by the way, has freed a number of wrongly convicted Black men who were framed by crooked Philadelphia prosecutors and detectives. And how can Mumia's case not be right there? You know what I mean? Be exactly right there. And I know that them FOP crackers are determined to keep him in jail, but no, I'm feeling the optimism and the hope of today, because if other people who have been serving decades in jail, specifically as a result of wrongly being prosecuted and targeted by Philadelphia police and by the prosecutors, then Mumia is right there. He is right there. So I'm believing today that the thing is going to go in his favor.
Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting and seeing, because obviously what you said earlier really matters in this case, is that they've been looking and continue to look for reasons to keep Mumia in prison. He has become a cause celeb again over decades. In terms of the outside vocal support, international support within Philadelphia, support around the country. And I think they are determined, at least they've seemed determined up until now, to keep Mumia locked up. But it's only through those efforts that people have given over, again, the last few decades, which got Mumia from death row to a life sentence. And so there has been slow movement to preserve Mumia's life, but that only happened because of the outside pressures. If there were no outside pressures, if there was no organizing and activism that's happened over those years, you could have bet Mumia would have been assassinated basically via the death penalty years ago. And so it's that good work that people have been doing that's been keeping this case alive and going. And so we have to continue to do what Kim's talking about, hoping and working to make that hope become a reality to get Mumia free one day.
Word. Right on to Dr. Jared Ball for being in the spot. Big up to BAP, big up to all the organizations that have been rallying for Mumia's freedom for decades, as you said. So we're going to hope and believe, already claim for a good outcome on today. So good. Is it time for the ear doctor?
I think it's an ear doctor moment.
Hey, man, I should have got Jared to go get me a mushroom soy cheesesteak while he was up there in Philly. Big up, Philly. Philadelphia.
Oh, what? Soy cheese?
That's right. No cheesesteak for me. I have mushrooms on mine with a little bit of Daya cheese on top. Cut onions and green peppers. You know how they do it. Big up to Philadelphia, South Broad Street, all that. Yeah. Y'all need to fix y'all. Because until y'all had it, I don't want to hear nothing.
Listen. If it does not have provolone cheese on it, it is not a cheesesteak. Okay. If it does, provolone or nothing. All that cheese whiz, American cheese. I don't know what in the hell people are trying to remix the cheesesteak with. It's provolone. That's it. That's the answer. That's the only right answer on the cheesesteak. Provolone.
Another thing that adds life to married men is the fact that American cheese was the only cheese I knew. Project cheese. It's like it doesn't does it come in slices? That's not real cheese. It has to come in slices. Or the block cheese they used to give us back in the day. That was the welfare cheese was the block cheese that never fucking melted, B. You put a blowtorch on that bitch and it wouldn't melt. That shit was just a block for life.
So y'all go ahead and eat your dead carcass with cow pus on it. Anyway, let's go.
No, thank you.
Sounds yummy.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get to the break. What I wanted to do, y'all see him in the barbershop, is I'm going to give y'all my top 10, but we just going to do 5 for this one. Top 10 group crew songs, and you got to have at least 4 people on the song.
Okay.
All right. So let's get to it right quick, right here on the Remix Morning Show. All right. For those who don't have wives and stuff like that, like me, go ahead and eat better. You'll live long. All right. So with that said, let's go ahead and get to this top 10 crew songs. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do this in the order of history and time when they came out. I know it's a bunch, but first let's start off with no other than we talking about the symphony, the Juice Crew. The Juice Crew symphony had Master Ace, Craig G, Cool G Rap, and Big Daddy Kane. This song right here was one of the hardest and first crew songs that came out in the 80s. Next, let's go over to no other than.
We all agree tonight, all of the speakers have agreed that America has a very.
That's right. We talking about Self-Destruction. Now, Self-Destruction had a bunch of people on there. We talking about KRS-One. We talking about Just Ice, Miss Melody, MC Light, Stethosonic, Heavy D, Chuck D. Come on, man. That was one of the hardest songs that ever came out. Now, let's talk about no other than Buddy. That's right. Native Tongues. This one right here had the Jungle Brothers, Tribe Called Quest, Moni Love, and Queen Latifah. So this was a big time classic. Now, a lot of people don't know about this next one, but let me put you on to it. This right here, Banned from TV. This one right here had Noriega, had The Lox, had Cameron, had Big Pun, had Nature. And this beat, oh my God, come on. Now, we will be remiss, if I said that right, if we was not to put on this next one, no other than Flavor in Your Ear remix. Biggie, Busta Rhymes, Rampage, LL Cool J, Craig Mack, and you almost forgot it was even Craig Mack's song. It was so hard. Man, 3, 4, 5. That's your top 5 for right now. In case y'all didn't know, y'all got to go check those out. And I don't know who else could have done better than those in that history. Now we're gonna get to some more on the next break, but those right there are my top 5 for right now of crew songs. Now let's go ahead and get back to no other than the Remix Morning host with the most. Yeah.
Niggas is mad I get more butt than ashtrays. Here when I get mine the fast way, ski mask way with the ransom note. Fall from handsome, but damn a nigga tote.
What you tote?
More guns than roses, poses, shaking in their boots, the dummies, looking bare, disappear, Bamusha, whack to me. Take them rhymes back to woo, Biggie, come on.
You're right. People did forget it was Craig Mack's song.
Yeah.
They did.
Woo!
His version was hot. His version was hot, but that remix was like that shit was the joint, B.
Who had the best verse on that Flavor in Ear remix? Was it Big or was it LL? Because L came with it though.
It was big.
It was big because LL, I don't even know what is shit. Blotitious. Baby. Delicious. Give me cool, love me good. I don't even know what the hell he's talking about.
It's to Hollywood, but is it good?
But
that's why he can never be top 10, son. I'm sorry to drop on L. But that's why no one ever. That's why he's got to promote himself as the GOAT. It's like once you really get down, it's like you were good, but you just wasn't.
What?
He got memorable shit, but he's just not top 10 all time.
And I tell you what was so big about that. That was the first time LL took the hat off and you could see the bald head. That video right there was the first time we was like, yo, he showed his head finally.
I like your list. I do have some nominations, but maybe I'll wait till you round out that top 10 before I throw my little 2 cents in there.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And big up to CD right here. And big up to a Franny French that dropped $20 earlier. Y'all ain't give a shout out to. But no worries.
Oh, what was that other one you picked? The band from TV. God damn, I wish Nori wasn't a fucking clown that I could enjoy the song.
Come on, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that to Nori just because.
Just because he let some nigga get on his show and just talk willy-nilly and didn't correct the nigga right. That's clown shit to me, homie. And I fuck with Nori as an MC.
That band from TV song.
Oh, no, the band from TV, a beast. Yeah. Nature, did Nature even do any more records after that, Slim? I don't know.
He need to. He need to.
Woo, Big Pun, Styles P and Jadakiss on that joint. Woo, a monster.
And it's so funny, like and Buddy holds up. Buddy holds up to even now. Listen to that whole shit.
And then Self-Destruction, man.
It doesn't hold up though.
Yes, it does.
How the only thing that holds up is the catchphrase. Self-destruction.
No.
You gonna sit and listen to a whole? You gonna sit and listen to the whole song?
Yes, I was. Now, today's topic: self-destruction. It's not the audience that's bugging. It's one or two suckers, ignorant brothers.
And it had Dougie Fresh on there. D-Nice. Come on, man.
Oh, I remember D-Nice.
And Heavy D.
No, it doesn't hold up.
And then with Dougie Fresh beatboxing in the back of Heavy D. Come on.
And it gets like a 45-second listen, and then I'm on to the next.
Yeah,
I was like next.
And the one that started off for me was the Juice Crew, because when Big Daddy came and ended it at the end, and then Kool G raps verse. Oh my goodness.
Kool G don't get enough credit, B. Kool G rap needs to get far more credit.
Yeah, he does.
Far more credit, B.
All right. Well, that's my list. My list top 5. We got 5 more.
You're gonna come back with the next 5.
You know it. All right.
I can't believe I'm pleased with your list. You know what I'm saying? Jesus.
Come on, man. This is their doc.
That's right. You tell him, Ear Doctor. You tell him. Don't be letting Kamau talk shit. You tell him, dog. Top tier DJ out here. Make no mistake. It's the Remix Morning Show. Black Power Media. Kim Kamau, the Ear Doctor, Jared Ball on location up there in Philadelphia outside of the courtroom as they're waiting for the latest hearing surrounding the case of Mumia Abu-Jamal. Hopefully Mumia will get free, or the judge will rule hopefully in his favor. And we will be bringing you the updates and the details about that as they come in. Come out, story time. What we got story-wise?
So I got, it's basically a commentary story. Mm-hmm. So this was making its rounds on social media, and I loved it because basically it's one of those surprise comments from somebody who, I guess the guest, the facilitator, the moderator of the program was not expecting it. So there's this thing called the Athens Democracy Forum that happens. And then part of a forum like this is that they were discussing China and Russia, and who they thought was a mainstream, intellectual commentator. He's an economist. His name is Jeffrey Sachs. Basically, he turned Chomsky on him and started giving this breakdown around the role of Europe and the United States in the world. So it's like, these folks were brought together basically to demonize Russia and China and hold the Western states up as a role model of democracy. This dude dropped this on him. And so let's play this real quick.
The most violent country in the world in the 19th century, by far, was perhaps the most democratic or second most democratic, and that was Britain. You can be democratic at home and ruthlessly imperial abroad. The most violent country in the world since 1950 has been the United States. It's been by far involved
Jeffrey,
in more,
stop
wait a
now.
minute, in more
Let's
wars.
Jeffrey, Jeffrey, I'm your moderator, and it's enough.
Okay, I'm done.
The man didn't want to hear the rest of what Jeffrey had to say, but earlier on in the commentary, he did also a good little, I'm not going to play, but he did also a good little replay of the basis of what the United States was based on. And basically he called it out as a white supremacist nation that was founded on the committing of genocide, which again didn't go over too well with the host, but the audience understood it. And so I just wanted to play, because it's always great when you have these mainstream forums which are supposedly about promoting democracy, but really are propaganda vehicles for Western nations to sort of try to suggest that they are somehow elite in terms of giving democracy to the world, or fair play, or rules, or standards. And every now and then they don't really check who their guests are enough, and they bring in something that was totally unexpected to them. So
Jeffrey Sachs, great MC name, I like to say. That's a great rap name. Shout out to MC Jeffrey Sachs out here. Who was the moderator? I would like to know who was doing the cutting off of Mr. Sachs while he was spitting them facts.
I'd have to look. I mean, he's not like a well-known, he's probably like an intellectual or media type that again gets these type of jobs because he knows how to, because the guests were, I guess they thought the guests were picked to elaborate or give opinions in a certain way. Again, I think the title of this particular forum was Democracy, Russia, and China. And the way that the prior two guests who were on spoke about Russia and China was in the general way in which the West propaganda machine does, which is to suggest that they are strictly either authoritarian nations that don't have a rightful narrative and or claim around how the world should work and what should happen close to their borders, or what should be the role of these nations, which are quote unquote undemocratic, as the Western nations try to extend favor and democracy and capitalism and economic freedom to them, but as they reject it and so forth. So that's the general setup that they hope for these invited guests to follow. And then this one dude broke out the mode, who does have some, liberal left background. I just don't think they expected that his commentary would be that strong. And I felt it looked like, again, from an earlier replay of it, that he only got that strong, partly because he sort of was a little irritated, I guess, at the way the format of it was going.
What I found interesting about that clip was when Jeff said what he said, and then the moderator immediately jumped in. Okay, Jeffrey, that's enough. That's enough. And Jeffrey said, I'm done, right? Because there was no argument, right? Like everything that he said is indisputable. Like the moderator didn't even attempt, at least in that clip, did not even attempt to challenge or push back at what he was saying. He just wanted him to stop saying it.
Exactly.
It's like, shush, you were saying the quiet part way too loud, sir. You're not wrong. Just shut the fuck up. Just shush. And that is a conversation that really white Americans do not like to have. Like they just look at the way in which white supremacy dominated this continent to the detriment of indigenous nations and enslaved Africans. It's just the cost of doing business. I mean, that's just how you create a country, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all this rhetoric around Trump, and we have to save democracy. Like I always try to challenge, especially I guess well-intentioned white liberals, like democracy for whom? Like who is who has utilitarian use of this democracy that you talk about? Is it black people? Is it indigenous people? Is it gay people? Is it women? Like who has this democracy that we're trying to quote unquote save? I'm not trying to save no parts of this fucking democracy because I don't enjoy all aspects of it, right? It's limited to me, if they're at all, depending on what context. So I think again, this is what I'm talking about, John Brown Brigade. Now I can't even say if Jeffrey Sachs is part of the John Brown Brigade, but this is the kind of pushback against American ideology that white people need to be pushing back against other white people about. When black people or non-white people say it, it just sounds like, oh, that's just that y'all just Marxists, y'all just them radical leftist socialists, y'all just talking crazy. No, let the whites correct the other whites, and there's not enough whites out here correcting the whites that are still caught up in this mythology of American exceptionalism and American democracy. So yeah, shout out. We need to have him on here. You need to get Jeff Sachs on this joint.
Yeah, I'm always down for it because I completely agree. I'm like, one of the things that happens too many times is that white folks feel like they, and speaking in general, of course, like they have to own this history. Like, you don't have to own this history of the United States. You could break away from this history. You could break away from the idea that somehow you have to take on the patriotic stances that America puts out there for you. No, you don't have to take out the patriotic stances that America puts out there. You could be the John Brown white. You could be the counter narrative of look, this country was born in slavery and genocide, and there's no correcting the capitalist influences of this country in the way in which it is prescribed through electoral politics. There's a history of domination of internal populations, and definitely a history of domination externally. And that needs to be continually called out, as we call it out, and as other folks need to call it out, because your sort of working class white brethren ain't listening to us for the most part in terms of black radicals. But maybe you're going to catch them here, because maybe you, as a Jeff Sachs, who teaches economy in prestigious universities, will catch the ear of some of these young cats who are there, who are prestigious young people, and make them turn a different route. Because that's the way in which that's going to have to happen, because it's not going to happen for the most part, because they're going to be listening to Black Power media.
They should be, though.
They
and
should.
If you are a white person with means, emphasis on with means, run us some bucks. Shout out to the people that's already run us some bucks, but run the channel some bucks. Seriously, like this is what I try to tell white people, again, with means. I know there's plenty of poor whites out there, but there's a lot of white folks of means. Okay, run us some dollars. If you're not ready to speak with chest from an anti-racist perspective to the white people in your community or in your sphere, that's okay. Support black shit. Support black shit with your dollars, and build up the confidence to start speaking out to your peer group and to your family members later. But you could run us some bucks in the interim. Thank you. Thank you very much. I sent you a clip, Kamau, of the Pennsylvania Senate debate between the Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman and another Oprah fucking homeboy in this election, fucking Dr. Oz. God damn, we talk about Oprah. Look at what Oprah has given us. Bad stuff. She keeps giving.
I'm assuming Oprah is not, though, promoting this guy anymore. I'm assuming, but yeah, you're right.
No.
And there's the other one. There's the other so-called Dr. Phil, right? Is that his name?
Well, Dr. Phil, and I don't even think Oprah was politically endorsing Dr. Oz, but the fact that the only way we know of Dr. Oz is because Oprah brought him into the sphere. That's what I'm complaining about. It's like, why you keep bringing us these bums? Except for Ayanla. Shout out to Ayanla Van Zandt. Everybody else, sucker. But yeah, so this clip is about Fetterman, who suffered a stroke earlier in the campaign and has attempted to recover and is still dealing with some of the after effects of his stroke. But I want us to, the reason I want us to play this clip, I wanted to look at this through the lens of disability rights and accessibility and the amount of information that the public usually demands. Now I know he's an elected official seeking a higher office, and these are right questions to have about his health. But how much information do people really need about your personal health? Let's take a listen.
To me, for transparency is about showing up. I'm here today to have a debate. I have, speeches in front of 3,000 people in Montgomery County, all across Pennsylvania, big crowds. I believe if my doctor believes that I'm fit to serve, and that's what I believe is appropriate. And now with 2 weeks before the election, I have run a campaign and I've been very transparent about being very open about the fact we're in use captioning. And I believe that, again, my doctors, the real doctors that I believe in, they all believe that I'm ready to be served.
Follow up, I didn't hear you say you would release your full medical records. Why not? You have 30 seconds.
No, again, my Dr. L believes that I'm fit to be serving, and that's what I believe is where I'm standing.
Yeah, so Fetterman, again, still recovering from a stroke. Last night's Pennsylvania debate was historic in the sense that Fetterman was allowed to use closed captioning because part of his recovery, I guess he's having difficulty processing things auditorially. Is that even a word? But so he was allowed to use closed captioning. And I obviously am very glad about that. I think that let me start over. Him recovering from a stroke renders him, in part, he's partially disabled, right? There's not even a question about that. But the questions about is he mentally fit to serve, I think, are legitimate. But if he has released his records, or at least whatever his doctors have put forth, I think that should be sufficient for the public. I don't think that his full medical records need to be disclosed no more than anybody else's would need to be disclosed. If Mehmet Oz wants to disclose his full medical records, he could do that. But I don't think asking that of John Fetterman, when he appears to be of sound mind and body, he's standing up there, he's answering questions. As he said, he's doing speeches. Let me just also say this. I'm not invested in this race. I mean, I want whoever radical-minded Black people want to win in Pennsylvania, whoever that is, that's who I'm with. But anyway, but I just thought that this was a good example of, number one, who accommodations are made for. John Fetterman being a cisgender man of political power, I would assume of some means. I'm not surprised that they made this accommodation for him. And I don't think that another person, not of his gender, not of his race, not of his social status, would have those same accommodations made for them. It's just interesting to me that when we see disability, and people with disabilities trying to access spaces usually in which you do not see disabled people in, specifically politics, the first people that get accommodations made for are always the white men. Always going to be the white folks. So I want to see these kinds of accommodations put in place for everybody across the abled and disabled spectrum, who themselves may want to enter spaces that are usually hostile towards disabled folks. So I just think it was an interesting cultural moment there.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, because I think that I agree with your analysis. Like, his full medical records probably do not need to be put out there for the public. But if there are doctors who are signing off and saying publicly that this person has recovered enough from their condition that it would not hinder their ability to, quote unquote, serve in office, then that should be enough. And remember that the history is, as you're pointing out, of this country is not only to first of all to disappear folks who are differently abled, but also when there are those in the history of this country who have risen to certain levels, idea FDR, and then they completely hide the disability, and even Kennedy, John Kennedy, right, who was on crutches, and I'm forgetting the actual thing he was suffering from.
He had Addison's.
Yeah.
Addison's
So
disease.
all that stuff was hidden to show the so-called strong positioning, or to put the angle of the camera in a certain way, so as to hide the potential disability, as if somehow that means the person is not fit for a particular office or can't do a particular office, as if they're out there supposedly like lifting logs and that's their job. It's like, no, their job is to intellectually keep the empire going. So it doesn't matter necessarily what their physical, how far along the scale their physical health is and their mental health is, as long as they've given, and this is, anything, even a quote unquote socialist society, that if someone is given sort of a check and it's something that can be considered reasonable to continue on, then they should be allowed to continue on.
Mm-hmm. And I think the whiteness and the maleness cannot be ignored here, because even when you were saying what you said about FDR, pardon me, I'm thinking about that North Carolina congressman who somewhat recently lost his primary, Madison Cawthorn, who is a wheelchair user. Thinking of this other Republican cracker who wears the eye patch, right? And then I'm thinking of Tammy Duckworth, who's a Democrat, woman, but former military, right? So, you know, they accept her disability because of the way she became disabled, right, in combat. So, I mean, but I just don't see disabled Black folks in these same spaces, or at least obvious disabled Black folks. People may be there with invisible disabilities, but the space that is given and made for white disabled people, and again, it's slow, but even if it's slow for them, imagine what it's like for non-white disabled folks. It's just interesting to see. It's like, I'm glad to see more accommodations be made, but it's not lost on me who are first to receive these accommodations. You understand what I'm saying? So,
no, I hear that.
Yeah. That's
so the next story I got for us is one of those stories that's obvious to everybody, but anytime they do a study, it's always something I think worthy of having some conversation about or talking about. So here is California Sheriff's Office stops Black drivers 5 times more often than white people, data shows. And so in this report, Black drivers in California's capital are nearly 5 times more likely than white motorists to get pulled over by sheriffs for traffic violations, according to a new report on racial profiling across the state. Records from the County Sheriff's Department of Los Angeles, San Diego, Sacramento, and Riverside show that Black Californians were disproportionately stopped across those regions in 2019, especially for minor infractions. The state data, which was obtained by advocacy groups in California, profiling through a state law to track racial profiling and released on Tuesday, also suggests that the sheriff's patrols spend significantly more time conducting those proactive stops than they do responding to calls for help. So the racial disparities appeared most often in Sacramento, the state capital, where sheriff deputies pulled over Black drivers at a rate 4.7 times more than they stopped white drivers. In overall stops, which include pedestrians, Black residents were stopped 4.1 times the rate of white people. In San Diego, Black residents were stopped 2.2 times more likely than the white residents to be stopped by deputies. In Los Angeles, Black people were 1.9 times more likely, and in Riverside, which is east of LA, they were 1.5 times more likely. The data suggests that Latino residents were stopped at relatively similar or lower levels than white people, though previous research indicated that stops of Latino people have been underreported. And so I'll wrap up with this part. So the inequities appear more pronounced when they concern stops for equipment violations and administrative issues, such as broken taillights or outdated registration. The LA Sheriff's Department, for example, stopped Black drivers 3.3 times more often than white drivers for equipment issues, according to the report. And that's because these are pretextual stops in which they're hoping to stop people so they can try to gather some other information / data in terms of attempting to cause attempting to have a reason to make an arrest. And at the time, of course, even without a proper reason, they still will go ahead and make an arrest. And so we know that this data is not specific to California, that this is normally the data that we find all across the country. There was I remember a survey taken in Ferguson a little bit after Mike Brown was killed, or taken in St. Louis, which of course showed the exact same type of data. And then further, the data showed that then Black drivers were arrested and of course charged. And again, as we've talked about before, had to make their way through the court system and had to pay hefty fines and fees in order to work their way out, which added to the coffers of the criminal justice system, wherever it is, and the sheriff's office. And so Black drivers or Black folks are taxed basically significantly more, not only through regular taxes, but through fines and fees of keeping the criminal justice system alive so that it can continue to arrest and harass Black people in general.
My takeaway from what you've read is that the majority of the places, and I'm not too familiar with California, so chat, feel free, correct me here, but like you were naming places like San Diego and Sacramento and Riverside, and these are not Black places, right? Like it's not, These are not majority Black places. So these cops are going out of their way to search for Black people. No, let me get away, scoot out all the whites and Latinos. You nigga, come here. let me find you. Woo, out of all these other folks to specifically pull you over. Woo, child.
Yeah, that's the system. That's the system that we got. And again, this data is not. No one is surprised based on real life experience, but it's always important, I think, to point this data out to show that this, again, this is not people's imagination. This is not some individual story about being pulled over. The data shows that over and over again, it is Black folks who are statistically not only pulled over more, statistically arrested more, harassed more, stopped more in terms of stop and frisk, given longer sentences, in every which way that data can show the extent of white supremacy and racism and ruling over black bodies and Black people. The statistics of how the criminal justice system works, no matter where you're at in America, continues to point that out, including the murder of Black people by the police.
What are some ways that we can minimize or push elected officials to minimize police interactions with people based on traffic infractions, right? Because I mean, this report is valid. I'm certain it is, as all of these reports that come out across the country. And activists can wave this report in Governor Gavin Newsom's face, in the LA City Council's face, wave this in all the people's faces and be like, see, this is why we want to defund the police, because look at the ways that they are over engaging our community as opposed to other folks. So, for example, the same way that you get a speed camera ticket, right? Which I disagree with vehemently, but for the purposes of this. Okay, so the same way you get a speed camera ticket. So if you have a broken tail light, how come the speed camera ticket just can't take a picture of your broken tail light and mail you the ticket, as opposed to the police having to pull you over? Oh, do you have anything in the car? I mean, I know why. That's the whole point. Do you have anything else in the car? That's the whole point of the pretextual stop for the broken tail light. But something practical that these crackers in power might agree to, right? Anyway, maybe I'm going down a wayward path here, but we have to try to stop the engagement, the amount of ways that the police can get into Black people's lives and non-white people's lives just via traffic stops. There has to be a different way to do this. And I know its purpose is to get people ensnared in the system, yes, but if we're making policy asks, is that something that maybe we could consider?
I think people have already, done that and continue to do that on that basis, right? On the idea of having alternatives to the police. There's been different movements or that have come out of the George Floyd uprisings, again, liberal in nature, but still that are talking about when someone has mental health issues, calling someone else besides the police. When we're talking about dealing with homeless folks or houseless folks, calling somebody else besides the police. And I think there's even moves around when there are traffic stops. So making sure that there are certain things that you can no longer even be arrested for. And so it's strictly a ticket and then they move on. But again, and I think as you're sort of, you're thinking is that these things are of course, okay. But when the system is built to work this way, nothing short of getting rid of that system will solve these problems or whatever. Right. But speaking of somebody who's here to solve all our problems, every which way, we're going to bring back the ear doctor, which I assume with part 2 of the countdown.
Yes. But hey, Kim, if you wrote a book called How to Get Capitalists to Stop Capitalizing, then you will get you'll get an award, because that's what they do. That's what they're supposed to do. That's what they're here to do, and that's why they pull us over and all that stuff. Man, we didn't really even need data for that, but that's crazy to think that 10 people in a room is only 2 Black people, and you get pulled over that much more than the other 8 people in the room. That is wow. Do the math.
Driving by with their broken tail lights. They're driving by with their rearview mirrors smashed up.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Anyway.
Coke on the dashboard, body in the trunk. You know what I'm saying? Like chilling, cruising. No worries.
Sorry, officer. I left my license at home. Don't worry about that bag back. Nah, that's all right. Yeah, I'm about to go home and get that. Thank you, officer. Appreciate it. Well, you be careful. Thank you, officer.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get back to it. I'm gonna give you my other top 5 and put one on for coming off the bench song. So let's go to it right here, right now on the Remix Morning Show. All right, y'all. We got 205 people watching right now. We need some more likes, so go ahead and hit that like button while y'all are here. That would be very nice, and we appreciate it. All right, so boom. Let's go ahead and finish with this list. So I left off my first top 5 was Juice Crew, The Symphony. Then we had Self-Destruction. We have Native Tongues with Buddy. And then we had Banned from TV with Noriega. We had Flavor in Your Ear remix. And now let's take it down to the Dirty South. Where we going?
So I typed a text to a girl I used to see.
Come on now. You already know. You got to have UGK and Outkast for International Players Anthem. That right there, whew, man. You're talking about 4 MCs that went at it on a song that's always going to be played at every black wedding you can think of for the rest of the years you can think. Yeah. That one right there is it. Now, next, who we going to go to? No other than... Let's take it to the West with these ladies right here. Let's go with Yo-Yo, MC Light, Brandy, and Queen Latifah. Latifah making it twice with the Native Tongues on Buddy. So let's look out for that. That right there was a classic when it came out. Next, let's stay with the ladies right here. Let's go to Ladies Night. It's Ladies Night. And you're feeling right. We talking about Lisa Left Eye, Angie Martinez. We talk about Little Kim, the Brat Tat Tat, and Missy Elliott. That one right there was hot fire. And yeah, let's give you a little bit of that right there.
It's Ladies Night. What? It must be Angie on the mic. The butter pea, honey, got the sugar.
Come on, and that was with a radio person coming on Catch and Wreck real quick. Now, other than that, let's take it to a more, like I said, I'm doing these by dates. So let's take it to the next song, Swagger Like Us. That's right. That one had Kanye, that had T.I., that had Lil Wayne, and had no other than Jay-Z, Jigga Man. That song came out and we was like, word, all them on the track. So yeah, that one right there still get played hard. And when it comes on, people go a little crazy. Now, this last one y'all might not know about, but I'm going to put you on because I am the ear doctor. But no other than...
Oh, yes, indeed. I like this.
Reflection Returnal, Talib Kweli. That's right. They had Mos Def on this. They had Jay Electronica, J. Cole. This song right here had a bunch of heavy hitters on it. And High Tech did the beat.
Tissue, they snitching like Donnie Brasco. I'm counting like Monte Cristo.
Woo, that one right there is hard. And coming off the bench, I had to put this in here because I know everybody would get mad at me if I didn't. No other than Scenario, Tribe Called Quest, Busta Rhymes, Leaders of the New School, and all that. So that is my top 5 plus 1, and I am done. Now let's take it back to the Remix Morning Crew. You know how we do. Ooh, man, that rhyme. Let's go.
Oh, you got me there, ear doctor. I had forgot about that. We've only just begun. Electronica, Kweli, Mos, J. Cole. That's a banger. I only have two omissions. First of all, I'm glad you included Scenario. I think the chat is very glad you included Scenario. I would like to submit the Scenario remix. That is one of my favorite remixes of all time. It's all the same youngins, but it's a different beat. And what?
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna make any lists with all the other remixes with that one.
But Scenario, yeah, it should. Anyway, so that's one. The other one I have two, I guess. The West Coast All Stars. We all in the same gang.
Yes. I feel you.
And the I Got Five on It remix with the Bay Area All Stars, the Loonies, Drew
Okay.
Down, E40, Shock G, Spice One, Richie Rich. Yeah.
We did leave out the West Coast. My bad, West Coast. Yes. Because when I was thinking about it, I thought about Far Side, but I was like, that's a group. But yeah, same gang. That was the West Coast Self-Destruction song that came out. That was a banger. So yeah, man. Those songs right there, and they rock, man. All those songs right there. Swagger Like Us. I was surprised that all four of them got on the track. I know they not loved or liked by a lot of people, but that was a banger. But the UGK and Outkast, I play that like every black wedding I'm at, and everybody sings it word for word. Going crazy.
Swagger's Like Us is hot though. It was hot.
Yeah,
even though you're right. Like all four of them are trash these days, but it was hot though. It's just at the time. If you knew now what you knew then, knew then what you know now, whatever that might be, whatever. But like, hey, if it comes on, I'm still. It's going to get turned up.
And even though Brandy didn't rap on that "I Want to Be Down" track, that track came out. It was monstrous. We ain't seen sisters get on the track like that and burn it up since what was that movie? That revolutionary movie, Black Panther movie. Freedom. Dun, 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 dun. Anyway, I'll pull it up. But yeah. So that's my list for today. I hope y'all enjoyed. If y'all didn't,
true. Make your own list if you don't.
Hey, there it is.
That's what I'm talking about. Oh, that's right. Scenario shouldn't have been an honorable mention. It should have been in there.
I just didn't want to put too much Tribe on there because you got Tribe twice with the Buddy, and Queen Latifah made it twice, and Busta Rhymes made it twice.
Yeah, but Tribe is Tribe, son.
You're right. We could have put that Annie Up on there too, but that.
I mean, you really could have put like make them say again. All this ignorant. I mean, you did include International Players Anthem, yes, but I don't like all the omission and No Limit. Like y'all really just don't even respect what No Limit was doing in the late '90s. Like you want to talk about posse cuts? They just had albums full of posse cuts. Like that's all No Limit was doing.
Right, Annie Up should have been. I'm gonna skip over all that other commentary. Yeah. Annie Up should have been in there. You're right. Annie Up should have been in there.
Guys are some haters.
Yeah, big up the Silk the Shocker. Yeah, you definitely should.
Oh, you lost your fella and bumped your head out of all of them. He going South. Where the South at? You hear Ear Doctor? You should have to go to show you how much the Ear Doctor know about what No Limit was doing back in the day. Big up to Fiend, big up to Cain and Abel. Most importantly, big up to Mia X, Mama Mia X out here. C Murder still locked down. Shout out to C Murder. Yeah, you see, y'all don't have no respect. Y'all don't have no respect. Bunch of East Coast rap snobs.
You're right.
And I assume, like, for folks, again, I saw somebody ask, like, why not a Wu-Tang? Because you're not talking about groups, about folks who got together in crews to do something, and it wasn't like a regular basis. They were mixing and rapping.
And I would say the Headbanger too. The Headbanger with EPMD, Redman, K-Solo, and LL Cool J. Yeah. Rampage, either one.
What about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or 6, 7? Blaze the Hot Tridac.
Yeah, that one too. LL, DMX, Method Man, and Redman.
And Cannabis. Cannabis.
You forgetting about Cannabis. All right. Well, that is it for today. I will catch y'all later. Gators.
Peace, Redman.
You know, I was really tempted on Sundays because Ear Doctor sent me a questionnaire to fill out, which was very helpful. But I almost included like a list of people's music that I had to delete from my playlist, right? Because it's a significant list, right? And why some people got deleted and some people didn't get deleted. So I deleted R. Kelly and not James Brown, right? And who else is I try all the problematic rappers that I'm aware of. I think I have gone away. But when I think about how much Jay-Z music I like, I think about how much T.I. music I like, I think about how much Kanye music I like, and it's like I can't even listen to these niggas no more and enjoy it. Is
T.I. totally banned?
Yeah.
I mean, he claims innocence. Both he and the wife. I'm assuming it's based on that, right?
There's a lot of smoke though Kamal. It's a lot of smoke. It's a lot of smoke. There's a lot of smoke. There's a lot of smoke. And it's just, now his situation kind of reminds me of R. Kelly. You know what I'm saying? Because again, it was a lot of smoke for a very long time before anything.
Oh, there is. Okay. I didn't know there was like ongoing rumors about T.I.'s sort of behavior and all that shit. So I don't know all that.
It again, it reminds me of R. Kelly. It comes and goes. It ebbs and flows. Like there are times where it will pick up in the media cycle and then it'll go away. And then the conversation will heat back up again and then it'll go quiet again. So I'm expecting an eventual reckoning. It has not happened yet. But it's just a lot of smoke, man. It's a lot of smoke. He's one I can spit a lot of T.I.'s lyrics because I've fucked with T.I. really hard as an MC, but I can't enjoy it. Yeah. It's not enjoyable anymore.
Kanye, I'm still down with the old stuff. It's kind of like some stuff gets in your head. It's hard just to get it out. Like it's easy not to listen to anything he's put out in the last few years because it's like I don't give a fuck no more about, you know. And it's just the way it goes. But the old stuff is kind of hard to just like not particularly if it comes on the radio. Like it's different to choose not to play it, but if it pops on the radio and it hits you, it's hard not to just turn that shit off. So yeah.
Hard being a woman rap fan these days, but yep, we move. Anyway. Remix Morning Show, Black Power Media. Thank you all so much for rocking with us today. Give us a thumbs up on the video, please, and the thank yous. Do you have another story come out? I sent you one if you don't have one handy.
I have one handy, but I don't mind going with yours.
Well, you got it handy. Hand it up then. Let's go.
Hand it up. So this is coming out that Biden's student loan forgiveness plan is temporarily blocked. Here's how the lawsuit could impact you. Some people complain that this. I know some people actually, let me put it like this, who on first blush, they did benefit from this. I know most people, though, who, when they talked about having student loans, and I'm probably in that company, and most people were like, this obviously fell way short of what the expectation either was for some people to have expectations, and or, of course, what was promised, and or what they thought should have been done in terms of pushing back or forgiving or canceling student loans. So a federal appeals court has put a temporary hold on President Joe Biden's one-time federal student loan forgiveness plan, delaying, possibly permanently, it says, the implementation of the widespread loan cancellation. The order came from the 8th U.S. Circuit of Appeals in St. Louis in Nebraska v. Biden, a case brought by 6 Republican-led states. It hasn't completely blocked the program. Rather, the order means that Biden's administration cannot discharge any student loans until the court officially rules on the injunction request. There are currently multiple lawsuits challenging the legality of the federal forgiveness program and others that have been dismissed. Most recently, a suit filed by a Wisconsin taxpayer was dismissed by the Supreme Court last week. The administration had previously promised not to discharge any debt under the widespread forgiveness plan until October 23rd at the earliest, and said the automatic forgiveness would not occur until after November 14th. Now there is no official date as when forgiveness can actually begin. That said, the Office of Federal Student Aid is still encouraging borrowers to apply on its website. It will continue to review applications behind the scenes and quickly process discharges if and when it is allowed to. Application is open, but debt discharge is paused. The site reads, as a result of a court order, we are temporarily blocked from processing debt discharges. At least 22 million borrowers have already applied for forgiveness, the White House said on Friday. In Nebraska v. Biden, states including Arkansas, Iowa, Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, and South Carolina are arguing that one-time relief plan would harm their tax revenues and investment portfolios, among other injuries. Specifically, Missouri argues that, MOHELA, a student loan servicing company, would be hurt by the widespread loan cancellation. The case was previously dismissed by a district judge who found that none of the states had standing. The plaintiffs immediately appealed that decision. The Biden administration has until Monday evening to file its response to the plaintiff's appeal. The state will then respond in turn on Tuesday. And then lastly, I'll read, at the end of August, Biden announced that borrowers with federal student loans that could have up to $10,000 or $20,000 forgiven, depending on their income and status in school. Those earning an adjusted gross income under $125,000 in 20 or 2021 who received a Pell Grant while in school can receive up to $20,000 in loan forgiveness. Everyone else under the same income limits can get up to $10,000.
Except if your federal student loan was sold to a private lender. So if your loan is held by a bank and not the student, not the federal government, you don't qualify for that. That was a little caveat that the Biden administration just snuck out there, and they whispered it. They didn't say that part very loudly. So not even everyone who has student loan debts are even eligible to take advantage of this debt forgiveness program. Then there's a bunch of bullshit. This is all aggrieved whites, right? This is all white folks who definitely don't want anybody not white to take advantage of anything that they themselves cannot take advantage of.
And it's part of the conservative mantra of like anything that benefits ordinary people, working class people, and even people who have actually used these student loans to better their situation in life as promised, somehow are undeserving. The only people who are deserving of federal largesse or government largesse are corporations who get tax break after tax break, rich individuals who get tax break after tax break, and both combined who not only get tax breaks, but who actually get resources spent for them to continue on either with their profit making, the development of some new drug or some new technology, which is then sold or given, I should say, to private profiteers to make literally hundreds of millions and nowadays billions of dollars off of. For that, they have no problem. You talk about cutting their taxes, then you have a problem. So you talk about something that's going to benefit, again, people who supposedly were pursuing the American dream and now have this thing holding over their head or held over their heads, that again, even in other Western capitalist countries, they do not make their population suffer under the burden of huge student loans, which hamper or stop them from gaining more resources or doing more things with their life. It's only in this so-called Western democracy capitalist nation that over your head will lie not just 20 or 30,000, but literally hundreds of thousands of dollars over your head because you've chosen to pursue some sort of form of higher education, again, which you're encouraged to better your life situation. And then you have to sort of incur this duality of like, yeah, I may make more money, but again, 30 or 40% of that has got to go back, or 20% of that, whatever it is, it's got to go back to pay these student loans. So I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't.
One thing that you read in that piece that kind of jumped out was I think it was coming out of Missouri, whatever entity holds Missouri's state, student loans, that company could suffer losses versus the 22 million people who have applied for the thing. And it's like, fuck that company, man. Like the indifference that people who largely hold conservative values, the indifference that they have about the quality of human life is staggering to me. It's like everything is personal responsibility unless it's fucking Jeff Bezos or unless it's the airlines or unless it's some other major. I mean, it's so weird the way that white American identity is tied up with the health of American corporations. It's very strange. Like white folks are very invested in whether or not companies do well versus actual people. It's a sickness. It's very disturbing, I have to say.
It reminded me like this. I mean, it's a slightly different, but the story in Florida after the major hurricane, and DeSantis is now asking for federal aid. But when there is a major hurricane in other places, they are rushing to suggest that no one should receive federal aid after a hurricane, that people should, again, pick themselves up by their bootstraps after a major ecological disaster, and that somehow they should recover on their own through strictly state funds. And they argue that for everybody else, but then when it actually happens in their state, and and again, they already know this. It's not like they don't know this already, but the amount of resources that are needed in order to recover from something that's a so-called natural disaster, but also have implications of being man-made because of the climate disaster that people have caused, that they refuse to. But then when it's in their state, they want the resources because they understand that they can't do anything without those resources, because that's where billions and billions of dollars will come. A lot of these states here in even here in Georgia on another on COVID, right? So the federal government gave literally billions of dollars to supposedly fight against COVID spread and so forth. And places like here in Georgia didn't spend all that money on COVID relief or support or mask or other things. Instead, they bank that money. And part of this race in Georgia is that the Governor Kemp is claiming that his good financial wherewithal has caused a windfall of resources, and now Georgia has $5 billion that it wouldn't have had because of his great ability. But it's like, that's the COVID money that you didn't spend. Right. That's what that is. And now you're claiming it as if you've done something to earn it or get it. And then you have all these plans on how you're going to give it back to the taxpayers or do something with it that makes you look good, when really that is money from the federal government that you got.
So you got your tax refund, and all of a sudden you proficient at managing money. You know what I'm saying? Like your federal refund finally came in, and all of a sudden you're like, look at all this money I saved. No, you didn't save no goddamn money. You got some extra money coming in. I don't like it here. Rescue me. I'm still on the lookout for a foreign husband, FYI, who is in good standing with his home country. That's it. I just want
you want to throw that out there.
It's just as a reminder, because every day I wake up in America, I'm like, for God's sakes, the ghetto. Someone please come get me out of here. Pop up that story about CenturyLink there, Mr. Franklin.
Got you.
So this story is sort of like the one that you read from California. It's these water or wet stories for Black people, right? When we, someone takes the time to put pen to paper to confirm to us what the fuck we already been to knew. And this is, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble. Get out of here, notification. God damn it. Who is this? Is it Sahan? SahanJournal.com.
I think it is, yeah. I think that is a mess.
the Sahan Journal. I hope we're saying that correctly. And the headline reads, CenturyLink offers slower internet service to Black and brown neighborhoods in Minneapolis, new report claims. And again, I'm sure that is not a surprise to anybody. And people on social media are correctly characterizing this as the Black tax, right? Because you got to charge Black people more for worse services, as it were. So $50 a month can get you very different CenturyLink internet service depending on where in Minneapolis you live, according to a new data analysis by Leon Yin and Aaron Sarkin at The Markup, which is an investigative tech news site. In lower income neighborhoods like Cedar Riverside or near North, you can get basic internet service of 10 megabytes per second, which is below the federal definition of broadband. That's the only plan that CenturyLink offers in those neighborhoods. Their provider doesn't even offer higher speed services there. But yet in other higher income parts of the city, like Kingsfield or Longfellow, Longfellow sounds nice, CenturyLink offers a range of faster options. One plan provides service of 500 megabytes per second, which is 50 times faster. So the price for this 500 megabyte plan available in the wealthiest neighborhoods, how much is that price? The same as the 10 megabit plan in lower income neighborhoods, $50 plus a $15 a month rent to rent the modem. Advocates say that those differences in speeds can determine access to education, healthcare, and the ability to run a small business. Quote, we live in a society right now that's tele-everything, whether it's healthcare, whether it's education, whether it's work, said Minnesota State Representative Mohammed Noor, who is a Democrat representing Minneapolis, who also works as a technology consultant. Many individuals cannot even do their job because they don't have a good enough network or even access to a computer. In Augustine, executive director of Minneapolis-based Project Nandi, helps low-income families access technology and internet connection. I call lack of internet access the new Jim Crow, Augustine said. It's pretty serious. It's not just an issue. It's not just an issue of them not being able to watch Hulu TV. It's the kids that are failing school, being held behind, not being able to access medical care because you don't have a virtual appointment that you can get seen in 2 days. And even if you go into the office, it's going to be 3 months. CenturyLink is one of 3 major residential internet providers in Minneapolis, alongside Comcast and USI Wireless. The investigation by the Markup, which examined more than 800,000 internet service offers in 38 cities, showed that Minneapolis has some of the highest disparities in the country. CenturyLink offered the slowest internet speed with no opportunity to upgrade in 24% of the city's least white neighborhoods. That is, neighborhoods who the highest percentage of people with the highest percentage of people of color. Only 5 residents of those neighborhoods qualified for the highest speeds for the same price or even less. The disparity was even starker by income. CenturyLink offered only the slowest internet speeds to 51% of Minneapolis's lowest income neighborhoods. Just 8% of the highest income neighborhoods were offered those low speeds. That gap in CenturyLink service was the largest among the 15 CenturyLink serving cities in the Markup's investigation. This is not new, and this is something that became very apparent during COVID lockdowns, especially when students were trying to do virtual learning. Comcast and Verizon and some of these other companies actually had to start offering better services in predominantly Black and brown neighborhoods, because they were obviously not there, and the students could not participate in virtual learning, or people could not successfully work from home because their internet speeds weren't available. But it's just wild and funny and all unsurprising at the same time that folks can be paying the exact same prices for a service as Black and brown people living in Black and brown neighborhoods. The white folks paying the exact same price, and they shit work way better. Shit work way better. Funny how that works, Kamal.
No, you're right. I love the water is wet story, because that's exactly what this is. It's like another indication, another way in which we can see how our communities suffer under sort of racism and white supremacy. And again, under corporate racism, under individual racism, under federal government, state, local, it's all there. It's all about, and it's obviously a class, a component to it, but it's really all about how not to service, or how to take from our communities and not provide a sort of proper service. So any which way that folks can find to cheat Black folks, because they feel like, hey, we don't have the resources or the power to contend it, and so we're going to do it until we get caught. And even then, we'll come up with some rationale for why we did it in the first place. But this is commonplace in practice for these corporate entities. They want to take advantage of our communities, take what little resources, and we understand, and we should understand that, again, it's no accident that these things happen. This is a part of their own planning for their own interest, and they will even pass up an extra buck or two if it means doing something to repress the larger Black community.
And where is the recourse here? You know what I'm saying? Where is the regulations? Where are the state in investigation into this, or the federal investigation into this? All of these disparate practices are accepted in America, and white people need to understand that. we don't have customer service. When white people are moving mad towards entire communities, right? We just kind of have to deal with it. But who can we go tell? Who's going to come in and fix this? Who's going to make CenturyLink make their service equitable across Minneapolis's neighborhoods, regardless of the income or regardless of the racial demographics. Like, there's nobody coming in to fix this. You know what I'm saying?
It will only be the power of organizing, the power of people getting together to make demanding for change, demanding for control, demanding for finding other ways to have control over internet. That's the only real way out of it. You know what I mean? It's going to be a fight and it's going to be a battle. It's what we just got to be ready to take on and do.
But see, if Kanye wasn't a crying little hoe, he could invest his money and actually do something. I'm sorry, not to bring Kanye, not to drag Ye back into this, but it really irritated me to hear this man complain about how he brought JP Morgan and Chase like $140 million and he was mad that he got treated bad. Said, nigga, do you not know that your people have been getting treated bad by all of these institutions? Oh, you thought because you was a rich, famous one, they was going to treat you nice, huh? No. Anyway, sorry.
Well, it's about to be a wrap for today. Y'all remember back in school when you just had to answer and you like, oh, you had to hold your arm up because you was putting it up for so long. I know the answer.
Well, and you still don't get called.
That's right, man. Big up to all those students right there. Keep your arms up and keep waving them. Somebody's going to call you. Yo, so that's it today for the Remix Morning Show. And we will be back tomorrow at 8 a.m. And with that said, we're going to end off on one of your favorite MCs. You know it is. Peace, y'all. Remix Morning Show. We out of here.